I'm sure that you've heard the lie that John Darby started the Rapture in the 1800s. That is a lie. And anybody who posts or comments that, block them, ignore them, don't even respond. Because the earliest mention of the Rapture is found within the 2nd century, 3rd century, and 4th century after our Messiah was ascended into heaven. Irenaeus, a bishop of Lyons, wrote a book, his 5th book, called Against the Heresies. Within that book, he speaks of the Rapture. Who was this guy? A man who spoke to people that were directly associated with the disciples, including Polycarp, who was a disciple of John. And that's where Irenaeus claims that he obtained his prophetic views from the aged brothers who had personally interacted with the apostles. This is very, very significant because this leads us directly into a connection to the disciples and the early church fathers' beliefs or their thought process, especially John, who wrote Revelation. Now we get to the juicy part. In the 5th book, again, in this section, he writes, "And therefore, in the end, when the church is suddenly caught up from this, it is said that there shall be a tribulation such as not been since the beginning, neither shall be." Right? But to be fair, there are some that believe that he states here that people will have to wait for the post-trib rapture. And they shall lay Babylon waste and burn with fire, and shall give their kingdom to the beast and put the church to flight. But what does this mean, the church? Is this us, the church? Or are these the people that will fall away like you who doesn't believe in the pre-tribulation rapture? Because for your faith you are saved. Since you have no faith, you will stay to endure what you want to endure. And the Jews who will convert, and the multitude of nations. How do we know that that's really the case? Because here we have, now I have shown you a short time ago that the church is the seed of Abraham. Who is the seed of Abraham? The Israelites, the Jews. That's the seed of Abraham. Now notice, when the church is suddenly caught up, there shall be tribulation. When the church is suddenly caught up is a circumstantial clause that tells us the circumstance upon which the action of the main verb hinges. When the sudden catching up of the church is a present disconcerting fact for the world, then there shall be tribulation. Even if you went back to the Greek, it doesn't change its meaning. It's the same thing. So people arguing that that's not the case, completely wrong, and do not understand the context of the wording, the verbiage, and how it's being used. That's usually the problem when people read the Bible. They choose one passage portion, do not read before, after, and do not understand how the actual words are supposed to be intended to be defined for the people that are reading it. And finally we have here, "But it is necessary to say on these things that it behooves the righteous to be the first in this condition which is being renewed, rising up to the appearance of visible observation of God, to receive the promise of inheritance which God promised to the fathers, afterward to be a judge." And here's mention of the rapture in the 3rd century. And here we have in the 4th century, St. Ephraim. Now listen, we know that there will be a tribulation. Absolutely. We know that we Christians who are faithful and believe will be rescued and taken away, because this is something that the early forefathers have taught, and it has been passed down. It was not a creation of the 1800s as many would have you believe. And if they are telling you this or telling you that it's wrong or that the Bible doesn't say that, then maybe they should throw away their degree, or maybe they should reread the book with humble eyes and see that for your faith you are saved, as I stated before. And God stated everything you do is from your faith. If you do not believe that he will come and rescue you, he will not. Understanding the tribulation, it states in the Bible that a multitude, innumerable, will come to the Father, that the Israelites, the Jews, will repent and convert. The tribulation is the very last chance for Christians that fell away and didn't believe to repent and come to the Lord. Those who stay strong for the promise, continue to do the good work, spread the warnings, will be rescued. That is an absolute biblical fact, whether you like it or not.